Greetings, class. How is everybody doing? It is another beautiful semester at Milwaukee Community College, and I thank all my students for attending here, and everybody has a deep interest in the English literature canon. And I have to say, English literature is the most important class you young freshmen will ever take in all of your community college career, and I am so happy for that. So I actually got my PhD at Elmhurst School for English and Sociology on why Harold Bloom was not a racist. So today we are going to be discussing why Dante is important to any degree out there. And I want you to write a paper on how Dante is transformative to your own faith. And if you do, and if you write what I say, I will give you an A+. Back in my day, I argued with the great Ben Burgist, a sincere leftist who was proselytizing everybody into some of the most nuttiest conspiracy theories out there, and I had to bring up why the prison sentence was just. And I can't believe today that some people would sincerely be what you would call a dirtbag leftist. Even, I don't know, some people say that the left is more dangerous than the right, but I would argue and say that the right is definitely more dangerous than the left, and yet people like Ben Burgist are making the left as dangerous as the right. So it is important, my fellow students, that you read Dante and understand that Dante was against people like Ben Burgist, and that he wanted projects like the American democratic system to hold equal sides and didn't want people to sincerely have ideological convictions. And that's what I want to take away from everyone this semester. I just want to remind the class right now that I was just like you when I first entered college, and I was so happy I was accepted. I was a huge, huge fan of David Foster Wallace. And some of that today is very important to my own thinking, especially also some of the work of Balzac. But when I was there, I was just a kid out in the Midwest, and I attended pretty much a no-name, convenient liberal arts school, and I decided just to major in a double major in philosophy or English lit, and I was in love. I loved my professors, and I started to emulate their behavior. In fact, I was one of their best students. And to this day, I realized that the best day of my life was attending this no-name liberal arts school out in Middle America. And it has done me well. And today, we are doing that tradition all over again here. When I became an activist and I started to enlighten the YouTube sphere against people like Dave the Distributist, I decided to point out their hypocrisy, that they weren't true Catholics, into a concept I would like to call logos. They were misreading the text and what Aristotle and Plato has said, who are, by the way, some of my favorite thinkers of all time. And after this semester, everybody will know that by default, Aristotle, Shakespeare, and Plato are some of the best people that society has ever given in Western civilization, but that's not the point here. I recall a time when the Ukrainian crisis was happening, and I used to fly my Ukrainian flag on my Twitter all the time, and some people out there, they would say really mean things about Jewish people, and I understand that the Western canon, it has problematic ties to it. There's no doubt about it, but when people assume that Ukraine has Azov Battalion, who are openly neo-Nazis and call Russian a Jewish cabal, that is not the point why I advocate Ukraine. I advocate Ukraine because it is the rational, liberal thinking of saving what's left of the rational world. People need help, and that's accorded with the good life and logos. And when there were haters, I remember there was this evil person by the name of Pill Eater, who, by the way, I'm so glad he's not famous like I am. He used to say despicable things like, Harold Bloom is a despicable Jew. That just shows his anti-Semitism there. And what I would do, I was so shocked by that statement. I didn't want him on my podcast, so I decided to go in the mirror 20 years ago and say to myself, taking deep breaths in and out, science is real, Black Lives Matter, no human is illegal, love is love, women's rights are human rights, and kindness is everything. If I say that at myself over and over again in class, I want you to say that too. You will get away those mean people who say critical things about the Jews, like what E. Michael Jones or that fraud Kevin McDonald might say, or even some of those so-called leftists like Norman Finkelstein said in the Holocaust industry, that criticizing Jews is a form of anti-Semitism and would definitely ruin my career and my livelihood to get a paycheck. I couldn't even teach any of you students here out in Wisconsin Community College. I'm still trying to pay off my debt, but again, we can learn a lot from Dante this semester. I remember those days, the first days I would enter undergraduate. I didn't know anything, but I knew society was wrong. I was a blonde-haired, frail kid into interesting things and ironic Reddit tier memes, but when I saw my first stranger professor and we first read the great works of Shakespeare, I believed that English lit was transformative, as the great Harold Bloom would say. I believed all that, and I think it was my civic duty to tell how wrong the internet is in the tradition of Martin Gardner, and being a classical skeptic. And I think that's what everybody needs today. And again, people are too sincere. They're not ironic enough, and we need more people to be ironic. And that's what's important about the English major. It's just like how what Umberto Eco wrote about Earth fascism. Earth fascism is everywhere, but if anything, if I had to choose a side, left wing or right wing, I would definitely choose the left because they are more rational and important. And again, we have to recorrect everyone to the correct Logos way of Christianity. And there are so many people who are just ignorant and don't read books. And I'm here to help that class. So we're about to take out the syllabus and read what we're going to learn this semester.